and we're not too. Let's go.
You're listening to the DSM Podcast Network powered by Learfield. Talking Drake Athletics, the 515 podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
It is the 515 podcast. We're coming to you as always at 5:15 on a Monday. It is the Drake Sports Media Podcast Network, and we are powered by Learfield. We are streaming on the Drake Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages. You can also listen through the traditional form of podcasting through the free Varsity Network app from Learfield or wherever you get your podcast. Coming up on today's show, we've got the headlines, we've got the ones, plus Blake Boldon, the Franklin P. Johnson director of the Drake Relays, will join us for a conversation, a big announcement about the Grand Blue Mile, also some information on Drake road races and the 115th Drake Relays coming up in April. So if you want to learn more about that, stick around. Man, it feels good on this Monday. Des Moines Hometown Team Weekend Sweep. That's where we're going to start things when we get back. But first, I'm your host, Michael Admire. It is the week of February 10th, and here are the headlines. My bad. I jumped the gun a little bit. I'm just excited about Des Moines Hometown Team Weekend and how well it went. 3 straight years now, Drake basketball teams have swept through Des Moines Hometown Team Weekend. Had a couple of nail biters as well. We'll get to those in just a second. But let's start with some of the Hoopy Hour events and the events surrounding Des Moines Hometown Team Weekend. Big thanks to all of the fans that came out and, took pictures in front of the mural, listened to great live music, had some Hoopy Hour drinks, a ton of fun. Got a chance to talk to coaches, athletics administrators. I got a chance to talk to some fans as well. Just really exciting to see how far this thing has come in the last 6+ years. And it still even feels like we're just getting started. Learned a lot from the Hoopy Hour event and hope to expand on that come next year. So be on the lookout this summer. Hopefully we'll have some more information. The atrium was sparkling. That looks good. The Mid-American Energy Foundation atrium looked really nice. Everything in the Paul Morrison archives were looking great. Just all around good weekend to be a Drake Bulldog. And hey, it helps when you win 3 games on top of that. The Drake women's basketball team moves into a tie for 3rd place. They get wins over Illinois State and Bradley. The Dogs beat the Redbirds 79-74 Friday night. Then the Braves 72-52 on Sunday. Each game, 4 players reach double figures, led by Katie Dennebeer on each of those nights. Dennebeer with 15 points, 10 assists versus Bradley. And you hear the crowd there on Friday night. And if you're watching through streaming on Facebook and YouTube, you can see the video going along with it. Great play by Katie Dennebeer on a tap back in a crucial minute, but the crowd really into it Friday night. It was bumping at the Knapp Center, and that sets up a huge weekend road trip to Murray, Kentucky and Nashville, Tennessee. The Bulldogs will play at Murray State and at Belmont. Huge opportunity ahead for the Bulldogs. All right, the men's basketball team gets a couple wins last week. They go to Murray and get a win. And then Saturday night in overtime, they get the win over Indiana State, 85-81. 9 Bulldogs score in that game. Drake maintains a 2-game lead in the Missouri Valley Conference standings and get enough votes this week to be 31st in the AP poll. So Drake men's basketball receiving votes for the 2nd consecutive week. And also, here's for the students. And I've heard from some of the students. You guys are listening and watching these podcasts, so appreciate you doing that. Now, I'm going to let you in on some inside information. Be on the lookout for some big-time student promotions for the game coming up this Sunday afternoon against Bradley. We're calling it maybe I'm just calling it. We're calling it Project 1K Giveaway, and it's underway. We want 1,000 students at the game this upcoming Sunday against Bradley. Students, be ready. We've got giveaways this week. We'll have giveaways on Sunday, and it's going to be an electric atmosphere at Bradley. Of course, the men's basketball team has a midweek matchup at Illinois State, so a big game for them before coming home against Bradley. All right, Drake softball goes 1-3 to open up their season at the Doc Halverson Unidome tournament. Week off until they head to the Bama Bash. Indoor track and field up in Ames this weekend, back in Ames, and this time they dropped 28 PRs, 4 victories, and they were really impressive once again. But I mean, the real reason I'm bringing up some of this video here are the Drake track and field uniforms. My goodness, these are gorgeous. It's the Drake powder blue with the Drake script across the chest, and the 1969 throwback uniforms, but we've seen that trickle into some of the different sports. Track and field, softball has a version of that, and they look good in any sport. So shout out to track and field for rocking those up in Ames this weekend. Also, shout out to Will Eklund for his singles win over the weekend against Ethan Neal of Creighton. Also, got a couple of wins on the women's side of things against Creighton. So the tennis programs early on in their season, and they got a fun year up ahead. All right, with all of that, it is now time to get the ones, and we begin with producer Ryan Gledhill, who is joining us. He had a busy weekend this weekend at the Knapp Center with hometown team weekend, and hey, this guy just doesn't stop. You're in here on a Monday at 5:15.
Yeah, I never stop, running around 3 days, 3 games in 3 days. I think everyone was a little tired after this one, but we're here bringing you the 515 podcast at 5:15. That's how it goes. So, a really exciting weekend. Again, I want to thank the fans and the Drake community for coming out during hometown weekend. It's always so much fun every single year that I've been here at Drake. It's a great community event. Great friends and family get to come out and experience why Drake basketball and Drake athletics is such a cool program and culture to be a part of. So thank you guys all for coming out and supporting the student athletes. But my one this week came after the Drake Bulldogs women's basketball victory on Sunday, when Coach Allison Pullman, at the end of the game, gets her team in a huddle. She made it a very specific point to make sure that the players go and greet and say hi and thank you to every single fan in the Knapp Center that came out to support them. To me, that's another reason why these programs are so great to be a part of, is because no matter who you are, no matter where you sit, no matter what seat you get, no matter what kind of hot dog you buy, you're going to get a great experience for Drake athletics, and the players are going to have a personal connection with you when they go out into the stands and thank you. They mean it. They mean the thank you for the support that they all get. And that was really seen on Sunday with the autographs, with the thank yous, with the fan interaction. It's been great to see all year, and it was great to continue that on Sunday. So, Coach Allison Pullman, you are the one this week.
All right. Nice job, Ryan. That's part of being Des Moines' hometown team. I saw the video that Drake Athletics posted on Friday. Access, affordability, and proximity. And that's another example of the access you get when you come into the Knapp Center. All right. We're going to continue with the ones. And what I'd like to point out is the fact that the Drake men's basketball program welcomed back the 1975 men's basketball team on Alumni Weekend. That team won the National Commissioners Invitational Tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. Head coach Bob Ortigal and 7 players were back for the 50th anniversary. And if you're watching on social media, check this out. They had the trophy. They dusted it off from Paul Morrison's archives, and they had the trophy from the NCIT championship that they won 50 years ago. And that team goes on to finish 16th in the final AP poll. I know that was a surprise for them to be able to raise that trophy 50 years later, and pretty special. So that is the one right there, Ryan. Good stuff. Now, as promised, we have our interview today, and it's time to bring on today's guest. All right, we welcome in the Franklin P. Johnson, director of the Drake Relays. His name is Blake Boldon. Blake, first off, appreciate you joining us here on the 515 podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here.
All right, it is the 115th running of the Drake Relays coming up the final weekend in April. What right now in February has you your mind most busy, or what has you most excited when you start thinking about the end of April?
Yeah, well, the end of April, it's university, college track and field. NCAA track and field will be full swing as it is indoors right now. And every weekend, we see a new performance. I mean, there's a collegiate record in this event or that event, and it just continues to elevate itself as a sport and the performances. But at the Drake Relays, where that started in 1910, 115 years ago, it's now become a celebration of our entire community, all ages, all abilities. We embrace the elementary school kids, the middle school kids. We've got some exciting announcements there coming in the next month or so. High school is not just the bread and butter, but maybe the heart and soul of the Drake Relays, and how we've seen Iowa high school athletes emerge as world-class collegiate athletes, All-Americans, school record holders at schools like Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma, Kentucky, so forth and so on, that come back as collegians to participate. And then, of course, they're fewer and farther between, but for a state of 3 million people, the number of Olympians in the sport of track and field from the state of Iowa is incredible. We've seen over the years, in a variety of events, but very recently in Paris, Carissa Schweitzer, and in Tokyo, Carissa Schweitzer from Dowling Catholic, and so many others prior to that. And it all comes right through the Blue Oval in April. And right now we're gearing up for the Grand Blue Mile downtown Des Moines. So that's where our focus is here for the next couple of days.
Yeah, you guys announced today that Mike's Sprint is now available. What is this?
Brand new concept, and we're excited to get the word out. So thanks for asking about that up front. It's an opportunity for little kids, so it's next Sunday against Bradley in the Knapp Center. We'll see a toddler trot, not quite that little. They're going to have to be able to go a couple blocks, but that will be up to the folks and the kids themselves, maybe as young as 3 up to 10. And there will be in categories of under 6 or 6 and under, 8 and under, 10 and under. A lot like youth sports these days, and we'll have 3 different waves, all finishing right there on world record way to start off the 16th annual, Grand Blue Mile presented by Wellmark. It is going to be a great night, and that new feature will allow these kids not just a chance to race and feel that excitement and be right there at the finish line, and then turn around and watch the mascots race. Spike himself will race. Cy and Herky have become or have taken their rivalry to the streets of downtown Des Moines and gone head to head. And Cubby Bear and all of those family favorites throughout Des Moines and Iowa come down to downtown Des Moines to race. And then we're hopeful those 8, 9, 10-year-olds and maybe even some of the even younger kids will stick around and run the whole mile or walk the whole mile with grandpa and grandma, mom and dad, because that really is what's central to the Grand Blue Mile. It is accessible for everyone, literally from 3 years old. And we've seen an American record set there by a 96-year-old in the past. So it is quite literally all abilities, all age levels, and registration starts tomorrow.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the registration, a 2-day flash sale.
Yeah, that's right. It is the best deal in Des Moines. You will not beat this deal. It's only $10, 2 days only. And that's because we want you to commit now and get going. It's 10 weeks from tomorrow is that we will be bringing thousands of people to downtown Des Moines. And this early call to action and this incredible value is what has made this the second largest annual 1-mile race in America. So I've said it before, and it always gets me wound up or choked up. Like, not often in Des Moines do we compare ourselves to New York, but New York has the largest, and we're right behind them in number 2. So the Grand Blue Mile sits right behind the 5th Avenue Mile in New York City as the second largest 1-mile race in America. And it is because 3-year-olds up to 96-year-olds, $10, get a free T-shirt, get the free photography. I mean, last year we looked, we had more than 5,000 searches by registrants of their free photography after it. So we know people care. They really want to see those photos of themselves running, or maybe their kids running, or maybe how often do you get a photo with a grandpa and a grandma with a young kid running across the finish line of a mile? So those photos have become a key part of the event. All of that for just $10.
And not only do you have young kids, as you said, from 3 to, people all the way into their late 90s out there running, being active in the middle of downtown Des Moines, but they're also rubbing elbows with some of the best in the world to do it. And once again, the USA Track and Field Road Mile, 1 mile road championship is that night.
Exactly. You get to rub elbows with the mascots. And actually, Griff is always there. Griff 2 will be there. He's an iconic part of the
Usually
event.
the beautiful Bulldog champion.
That's exactly
there.
right.
Yeah.
So that's to be determined. We've got to see who wins that crown the day before. Actually, so the beautiful Bulldog is now, boy, that starts to feel like spring is speeding up. That's 10 weeks from today. And then Grand Blue Mile 10 weeks from tomorrow. So we'll have a beautiful Bulldog, new champion there. But that is it. At the 9th consecutive year, USA Track and Field, known as USATF, has identified Des Moines as the host for the 1 mile championships. We announced that last week. That's a testament to not just the community participation, the support from the Drake Relays, the reputation of the Drake Relays, the quality of officiating. But a couple years ago, we were able to ratify 2 world records, and then the city supported, and we were able to rename 13th Street honorary world record way. So this year, for the first time ever, will be a thrilling night. Members of Team USA will be crowned at the finish line of the Grand Blue Mile. It will be a selection event for the first time, meaning the first male and the first female and the runners up in both races will automatically be selected to represent Team USA at the World Road Running Championships in San Diego the last weekend of September.
Okay, so I imagine there's some high interest then from athletes in any announcements to this point.
Yeah, well, and there's also extraordinary interest because USATF has announced, and we shared that announcement last week, that they are matching our prize purse. So we've come to the table with the same amount of money as the past. They've doubled it. So now it is the richest 1 mile road race in America right now in 2025, and the richest 1 mile road race prize in the U.S. history. So the winner will walk away with $10,000. So I will tell you, there are a lot of people that not only are going to be here to run in red, white, to race to earn that red, white, and blue uniform, but they'll leave with $10,000. So we haven't announced the full field, but we did give a sneak peek at Drake Relays night. When the Bulldogs took on Valparaiso last month, Shelby Houlihan from Sioux City, she's made a successful return to running within just a few seconds of her 3,000 meter PR, which is in the top 5 in American history. So she's picked up exactly where she left off, and she is the American record holder in the 1,500. She's also the Drake Stadium record holder in the 1,500 from when she won the U.S. championships here in Des Moines in 2019. So she's looking to come back and win another U.S. title right in the streets of downtown Des Moines. It will be her Grand Blue Mile debut.
So not only do you have Shelby Houlihan that has been announced, but also Ryan Krauser, the big man, is back.
Right.
I love watching him compete. He has the Krauser glide. It's just like it's art in motion when he's throwing a gigantic piece of metal.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he has turned the art of something that is a form of combat, throwing a steel ball into an art form like ballet, and how he has mastered the footwork. And it of course helps that he's 6'8", 310 pounds, and maybe one of the most explosive athletes in the world of any kind. But then he's really reinvented the footwork and created his own technique that's allowed him to add additional inches, maybe even a foot to his previous best. And now three-time Olympic champion, world record holder, and just a fan favorite in Des Moines. I mean, it was not long ago. I'd have to think back, 2018. So that's a while ago, 7 years ago. He came to Relays Night and did a dunk contest and lit the place up in the Knapp Center. And we've announced he's bringing his special skills to compete in Drake Fieldhouse the day after the Grand Blue Mile, and that will be free to the public to get a chance to see Ryan Krauser. And then, of course, he'll be here for Drake Relays. So he's the Drake Stadium record holder. We've already talked that Shelby Houlihan's the Drake Stadium record holder. She will be targeting another Drake Stadium record. We're going to be running 1 mile. That record has stood since April 26th, 1975. So in the women's 1 mile, we'll be targeting a 50-year-old, one of the very oldest Drake Stadium records on the books. And Shelby, I know, is targeting another place to put her name in the Des Moines record books and Drake Stadium record books. So world record holder, American record holder. We've made 2 athlete announcements, and I'd say based on ticket sales and how quickly those all-session tickets have taken off here in just the months of January and February, there's already a lot of excitement about the 2025 Drake Relays.
That record you're talking about, held by Francie LaRue Smith.
That's right.
Who is one of the greatest kind of under the radar athletes of modern distance running.
Drake Relays fans no doubt remember her.
Yes.
And she became, because
Hall of Famer.
It goes back. Yeah, she became a Hall of Famer in 1983. And then after that, she still made, I think, 3 more Olympic teams. She's a 5-time Olympian. She went from the 1500 in 1976 at the Olympics to, by the end of her career, I think she ended in Barcelona in 1992 as a marathoner. She finished 11th in the marathon and started as a 1500-meter runner. Incredible career, a credible legacy, and to have any stadium record in a stadium that hosts so many high-level events at every level, you know, AAUs, USATF, NCAA, Drake Relays. She has had her name attached to that record for 50 years. So it will be a historic day on that final Saturday of April.
Yeah, 3 decades of 3 different decades she competed in Olympics. That is quite the longevity of career. All right, so with all that going on, that's just scratching the surface. Of course, Kansas State on the college side, they're going to be coming to town. You can always expect some great Drake Bulldogs competing at the Drake Relays. So all that stuff going on, it's time to get tickets, and tickets are available.
That's right.
For the Drake Relays.
Yeah, drakerelays.org is that one-stop shop. You can start to get the news, you can start to get the details, but all session tickets are on sale now for the month of February, and then we'll move to the packages, All-American Gold, silver packages. So really right now is the right time to get those all-session tickets to secure your best seats. And as I've already mentioned, they're going fast. I think this will make the 57th, but I may have lost track. It might be 58th consecutive Saturday sellout. Okay. And with the history and with these All-Americans, world record holders, American record holders already announced, that we have seen an uptick. And Relays Night was earlier, so tickets have already been on sale a little bit longer. So we are ahead of since at least the last 5 years in terms of progress towards sellout, I guess is the right language to use. So we have no doubt that will happen again this year. And now is the time to start making those plans. We did announce a hotel partner. So whether you're a Drake alum, or excuse me, it was more of a hotel booking partner. So if you get those tickets and go back to drakerelays.org and find that hotel information. So really time to start making those plans to come back and enjoy spring in Iowa. There's
so much to do that week, and it's not just sitting back and watching. It's not a passive fan experience. You can fully be entrenched and involved in the entire week.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of people think of maybe spring break at a beach in warm weather. Iowa at the end of April is a perfect time to take a whole week's long vacation. You know, certainly we talked about the beautiful Bulldog, the Drake Road Races, Grand Blue Mile, this new shot put concept that's continuing to grow in Drake Fieldhouse with the world record holder. We'll have a Hall of Fame luncheon on Thursday, and then the Distance Carnival Thursday night. The Isisarettes are a community favorite. The energy in there on the Distance Carnival will be electric. And then Friday all day, just world-class performances. Forest Avenue will be again closed with local food vendors, really bringing a flair of Iowa to Drake's campus. And then, of course, one thing that we don't talk about a lot here in the athletics department is student activities. Had a number of meetings with the student activities board. They have continued to elevate their game, everything from the student tradition of Blitz Day to street painting, and then what they do to integrate into what we do as an athletic department really makes not just an alumni tradition. The 50th anniversary reunion will be back again. Alumni, students, the community, and of course the world's best track and field athletes.
And it's a time at the end of towards the end of the school year to really look back on everything that has transpired. We don't know all what's going to happen, but I know for a fact that everybody is loving being a Bulldog right now, soaking up everything that we got going on. And Blake, I love your energy and passion for the relays. I always like talking to you because all I got to do is just ask like one question and you've got the answer for everything. It's perfect. I love it. All right, my man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Michael.
That's Blake Boldon joining us on the 515 podcast. We'll be back again next Monday at 5:15. As always, we'll talk to you then.